Bengals fans are amazing. They're resilient, they're tough, but they're fun. And I'm really excited to hopefully meet a lot more of you.
Isaac has the big game. Then we became a real balanced offense for the playoff run, which I thought was really important.
He put on the greatest route running exhibition I have ever seen in my life.
He was football 24/7, and that was the greatest part of Chad.
At times, the early part, I would tell him when we were throwing deep passes, I said, don't wait too long, because I'm going to get away. If you ain't going to have the arm to get there. So, I want to run to the ball,
Well, Duke, looks like Duke's in a waiting room. I don't want to keep Duke waiting. He gave us a very limited amount of time. I know he's a busy man. Duke, what's going on, big dog? How you doing, buddy?
Jim, how are you, man? Thanks for having me on. Yeah,
Hey.
I'm real busy. I'm sitting on my porch.
Yeah, well, hey. Have a little drink going on there.
Joe Burrow has played in big games his entire life, and I would think he will be a steady hand at the bow of the ship. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if they take him all the way to the Super Bowl. I really wouldn't.
Live from the Betfred Studios in Greater Cincinnati, it's time for Bengal Jim and Friends, brought to you by Cincinnati's Chili, Gold Star Chili. And without further ado, here's Jimmy.
Tom, what's up, baby? Hey, a big show tonight, guys. We've got Brian Bosarge, friend of the show, has been on with us probably the third year in a row, I think, Tom. If you want draft information and draft insight, this guy right here is your man. I know a lot of you guys probably follow him, but if not, you're going to enjoy talking to him tonight. So we'll have him on till about 8:30. We'll get him on here in another minute or two. At 8:30, we got the merchandise manager for the Cincinnati Bengals Pro Shop, Montague. So get your questions ready. If you want to know what's coming, when, the best-selling jerseys, how the T. Higgins jerseys are going, be ready to ask Monty any questions you want here around 8:30. Before we bring Brian on, I want to get a couple things out of the way real quick. Guys, Jungle to the Hall. 3 every day. This thing is getting bigger and bigger. We have firmed up. I think we're up to 16 different players now. We just added Icky Woods, Max Montoya, and a few other ones here just today. And guys, we were talking about if the weather's decent down there, we could potentially have 5,000 to 7,000 people down there celebrating our Bengal legends. So down at the banks in the comment section, I did put a link in there if you could RSVP. We expect thousands of people down there, but make sure you RSVP for that. We're going to have tons of giveaways. Bengal Bids is going to be down there, but 1 to 2 o'clock will be a DJ having some fun. DJ Trub, who DJs our tailgate, will be down there. 2 to 3 o'clock is our program. We focus on our Bengal legends that should be in the Hall of Fame, primarily focusing on Willie Anderson and Ken Anderson. But we'll talk about all of our guys. But those guys will be in attendance. And then from 3 to 4 o'clock is going to be an autograph session with the guys. So this is turning into basically a Bengal block party at this point, a Bengal mini fest, Tom. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun.
It is. It's going to be a heck of a lot of fun, and it's time perfect in the season where we all can't wait for the season to start, and we're tired of a very long off season and getting ready for training camp just around the corner from there. One thing to add for tonight's show, and I haven't even mentioned this to Jimmy, I've been in deep negotiations, and either this week or next week at about 8:55, we're going to have a very special guest on, somebody that's been actually special to the show since even before I was on. So hope you can stay tuned. Like I said, he's couldn't commit 100%, but he's hoping to be on tonight, and if not tonight, next week. So we'll look forward to that. And a lot of viewer participation is needed tonight, not just be ready with your questions for Brian, but also for Monty. So we've had a lot of anticipation, a lot of social media comments during the week. Looking forward to these two guests. So it's going to be a great night.
Yep. Yep. And real quick, one more thing about the Ken Riley Hall of Fame induction up in Canton for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, everybody, August 5th. There's a link in the chat area, the comment section as well. If you haven't purchased a ticket for that induction ceremony, you got to get them quickly. Use promo code Ken Riley Fan. These things are almost gone. And I'm not just talking gone our block for Bengal fans, but the entire induction ceremony is going to be sold out soon. So make sure you grab a ticket and support Ken Riley. As hard as everybody has fought the Bengals organization, Jeff Hobson, you as fans helped in this cause as well. It's important that we show out up there. And right now it looks like we're going to have a really good crowd up there. But if you're thinking about it, make a decision quickly because these tickets will be gone soon. So let's get to it. We don't want to leave Brian waiting any longer. I don't care what platform you're watching on, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Make sure you type in any questions you want about the draft, what you think. I don't care what the question is. We'll throw it out to Brian. We'll get to as many as we possibly can. But let's go ahead and welcome Brian to the show here.
Brian, welcome again. For everybody that doesn't know, NFL Draft Countdown was one of the leading spots on the internet to go for draft information. And then Brian partnered up with somebody and they got in, and now it's even better. It is the place to go. These two guys and their team do a great job year round getting you ready for the next draft. And Brian, we've got a really good problem again, and that is we draft really late. And to go with that, we've got a roster that we don't really desperately need anything. We don't have to take anything in the first round, but we also need a lot of things. We need a lot of depth. We need some youth. And, where do you see, as you read the tea leaves, where do you see it being good for the Bengals at number 28?
Well, I wish it was 31, but, that's neither here nor there. This was a lot easier the first time I came on the show with you guys, when it was basically just between Jamar Chase and Penei Sewell was who we were choosing from. And now, it's the board can go so many different ways. And it just really, you want to see what position run goes in front of the Bengals. And I think right around the 21, 22 spot, you'll start to see a certain position clump start going ahead of you. And, it's like, then that takes that off the board because then you're not getting the value. So it really just depends on who's going to fall. Is it going to be a tight end? Is that what we're going to look at? Could be a corner. Could be, interior defensive line. Could be an edge rusher. I think those are the four spots. Offensive tackle, of course, depending on, if one of those guys falls, I think the guy that makes the most sense will not fall is a guy we've talked about, on here before, Darnell Wright. I think that ship has sailed, fellas. I don't think we're getting him at 28. And then there's the altogether possibility of just there's a lot of the same stuff there. We can get it 8 picks later. Let's move out of the first round, pick up an extra 4th round pick. That's what I want to do. And I got my final Bengals mock draft will be going up on Draft Countdown on this upcoming Saturday. And spoiler alert for everybody that's going to read it, I've got the Bengals trading down twice in that draft, picking up more picks. Including moving out of the first round. So everybody will have to see what they're moving down for when it comes out on Saturday.
Hey, Brian, it's interesting. I was talking in social media, communicating with a guy who covers the Bengals, is very well respected. And he put it better than anybody else because I kept thinking they're going to miss something. They're going to miss one of these position groups that they need, even though they go by their board, best player available. They just don't have enough. And he said, by the time they pick in the 4th round, he said, I think they're going to need 5 things. And they're going to miss out on something, either a tight end or a running back or a corner or an edge or that offensive lineman they need for depth. But we've been hearing about that more and more. The hope is who is going to be there in those first 5-6 picks of the second round that want to give up a 4 and move up, and it won't be the Steelers.
No, it's going to be somebody wanting to come up to maybe Kalijah Cansey is the apple of somebody's eye, and they want to move up. I don't think he fits what the Bengals want to do, and I've heard his name, linked to them a lot, but I can't. This the short arms and such of that nature. I think is just so against everything they've ever done in the draft that tells us what they'll do. Like I said, I think corner has become a de facto spot that they could really look at because everybody's, well, why do they need to draft cornerback 4? And I think Joe Goodberry said it the other day. Cornerback 4 for them entering the season last year played 1,100 snaps during last season because of the injuries to Awuzie, and because of the injury to Awuzie coming off the ACL. Maybe he needs a little bit more time, to come back from that. And he's entering the final year of his contract. So similar to last year when you drafted Jesse Bates' replacement with Dax Hill in the first round, you could be drafting Chidobe Awuzie's replacement in the first round this year. And a guy I really like there, despite his 166-pound frame, is Emmanuel Forbes from Mississippi State, who's got some of the best ball skills of any corner in this draft. Had 3 pick sixes for last year. Has had 6 in his career. So it's insane, his ball skills. And, if you watch his tape in the run game, he doesn't play like he's 166 pounds. He plays like he's a 230-pound linebacker coming up in run support. So that's good to see for a guy. He's not scared to get hit with his slight frame. And it is slight. He's frail.
Yeah, I'd say what, Brian. I see. I'm looking at all the mock drafts. I'm not going to get into my questions at all. There's so many questions right now in the draft in the comment. I'm just going to throw a couple of them out here. Augie mentions here. You mentioned moving back in the draft. Do you see any other reasons or scenarios where we move up in the draft early?
And the first, if he's speaking in the first round, no, because that just doesn't happen. It's happened once, and that was 1995.
Kajana, was that the Kajana?
That was Kajana, if I'm not mistaken. That's the only time they moved up in the first round, maybe ever. I don't know for sure, but it feels like that feels right. I don't see that happening. I don't, because you would be then asking them to part with draft picks, of which they need more, right? Because like you said, you get in that 4th round, you made 4 picks, but you've got 5 spots you want to pick. So if you get that extra pick by moving back, then you could maybe, get all 5 spots that you want. I don't see moving up as being a likely option. Now, maybe like they did last year in the 2nd round, because I think if I'm not mistaken, they moved up a few spots to get Cam Taylor-Britt, and then I believe they also did the same thing with Tyson Anderson, maybe, or was it Cordell Volson? I can't remember. They moved up again, like in the 4th or 5th round, to move up and get a guy they like. So I think maybe in the later rounds, yes. First round, no.
Yeah, it is funny. All the mock drafts you're looking at, I'm seeing more and more cornerbacks popping up on these mock drafts that I had seen previous. Or you just mentioned you wouldn't be surprised if that happened. I know you just threw out a name, but Deontay Banks, cornerback Maryland, is that somebody that's feasible potentially dropping to them at that point?
It totally depends on if we see a run at some of the other spots, like maybe edge guys start going off, maybe the tight ends start popping off before we come on the board, and then you could see somebody like Deontay Banks get down. But man, if you can get his speed and upside to fall to 28, that would be awesome. 4.31 speed. I think I don't think he's reached his potential as a player either. There was some times on tape where I was a little more enamored with his teammate, who I think could be an option for the Bengals in the 3rd or 4th round, Jacorian Bennett. But Banks has got that tremendous upside there, and maybe not ready to go. Maybe cornerback 4 first season is great for him, and then he takes over the cornerback 1 role later.
Yep. It's so scenario, Bengals draft Kincaid and Mayer on the board. Is it as easy as a decision for you as it is for me? We're taking Mayer if that happens?
I think Mayer's tight end 1 on my board. I'll say that. Kincaid is tight end 2. So it depends. I think if you want to transform the offense like into a vertical threat down the seam, I think Kincaid is your guy. If you want to have a tight end that is not a liability as a blocker as well, which if you look at some of I heard on another podcast earlier this week, a lot of the Bengals run game problems last year stemmed from the tight ends getting blowed up at the line and, them failing to make the play. I think Mayer fixes that. I think he's one of the better blocking tight ends, especially of the guys that'll go up high. I think he's one of the better ones there. But, a lot of people question his athleticism and his speed. I don't. He creates his own separation. You see it on tape. He was basically a one-man show at Notre Dame. So I would love him at pick 28. If he's already gone and Kincaid is the choice, I'm good with that too. And to a lesser extent, you could talk me into Darnell Washington from Georgia as well, if a lot of the other positions are gone.
And Brian, something interesting. I believe Dalton Kincaid was in town this week and took a physical for the Bengals and passed. For those that have kind of stomped on the Bengals taking a tight end, the Bengals don't take tight ends in the first round. Now, Tyler Eifert was in the first round. In fact, they had him ranked.
So was Gresham.
Top 7 or 8. Jermaine Gresham. You go back to the 70s, one we probably want to forget, Mike Cobb, who was with the team for 1 year and didn't even catch a pass. But, they will do it if they think he's the guy to help them. And the other thing is with Kincaid, I know that the health concerns, especially with his back, you have to remember the year they drafted Jermaine Gresham, there was another tight end who had first-round talent that teams stayed away from because he had a bad back. They were terrified of his medicals, but Rob Gronkowski, turned out pretty good.
Yeah, well, we're not saying Kincaid is Rob Gronkowski. Let's not say that, but he offers, like I said, he can transform the middle of the field passing game for the Bengals in a way that I don't think any of the other top tight end prospects can. So it's something to keep in mind if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, interesting. We're going to go ahead and get to this now. I knew this. There's tons of comments on this right now. So, interesting situation right now, Cincinnati Bengals running back position here. And I do feel they will be drafting a running back in round 2 or 3. That's just me. I feel pretty strongly about this. But kind of give us your take, what you're hearing, and what might happen here at the running back position during the draft.
History tells us they will draft a running back in round 2, right? It seems to be the round they do it. Mixon, Dillon, Kenny Irons. Maybe we shouldn't bring up him. But, it seems to be the round that they like to draft those running backs. And I love the idea of trading out of 28, moving back into that top 5 or 6 picks and drafting Jahmyr Gibbs, the running back from Alabama. We talked earlier about how Kincaid would transform your offense. There's not going to be a more transformative running back outside of Bijan Robinson, which if he falls to 28, all bets are off then, right? Because then maybe that's the route you go. But Jahmyr Gibbs as a passing threat out of the backfield, all those we saw last year, what Mixon ended up with 60-plus catches, little dump off passes because teams were taking away the deep ball, right? They were a lot of cover 2. So Joe had to start checking down a lot, and Mixon would take those check downs. P. Ryan would take those check downs, but not explosive. That's not what you would get with Jahmyr Gibbs. You would get the explosive play with the check down pass. He tries as a pass blocker. He's not there yet. Not to say he can't be, but he is a little undersized, 197 pounds. A lot of comparisons in his game to anyway. I've also heard comparisons to Alvin Kamara was the one I was trying to come up with. He gets a lot of comparisons to Kamara, but I've also heard some people compare him to Jamal Charles as a running back prospect, which I think would be an excellent fit. I think, like I said, for the way this offense is going, I think Jahmyr Gibbs is an excellent fit. Now, if we don't end up doing that and come back later with a running back, I think Zach Charbonnet is a carbon clone of what we have with Joe Mixon right now. I think Tajay Spears from Tulane would be an upgrade on the team as well. And if you're looking for a home run hitting back in the 2nd, 3rd round, I love Devin Achane from Texas A&M as well. So there's some running backs to be had in that 2nd, 3rd round area. Maybe later, Israel Abanikanda from Pitt is a guy I like on this team. So there are running backs to be had in the 2nd, 3rd, even into the 4th round. If you want to wait that long, you can get a guy. So it's there.
Interesting. I'm very intrigued. I know we draft late. It's a long night, that first night, but it's going to be interesting where this running back flushes out at as far as where we draft them. This is one I can't give you a heads up on, and you rolled your eyes at me, Brian. But we got to talk about it. So there is a lot of word about the Bengals actually drafting a punter, that they're not happy with Drew Chrisman at all. Talk to us, Brian. Come on. They're drafting one win.
No. just say no to drafting a punter. No. If they were to trade down maybe once, maybe a couple of times, and you pick up an extra 6th or 7th round pick, okay, fine. But let's look at the best punter. There was 3 punters drafted last year, and the best one was undrafted free agent Ryan Stonehouse out of Colorado State. I think he made the Pro Bowl as a rookie for Tennessee, or maybe that was 2 years. I don't remember when it was, but undrafted free agent, I think route is you can get a guy there. If a punter goes in the 7th round, so be it. Let another team do it. Just get your guy. Bring in a guy. Bring in a veteran. Look at the USFL and XFL going right now. Maybe one of them guys is punting the lights out or something. Bring in one of them guys in camp too. Bring 3 or 4 of them. I don't care. Just don't draft one. You can draft somebody else and do better for the team.
So you're saying if they get one, it'd be a free agent pickup of some kind, or
that's what I would do.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Tom.
Brian, one of the things, in the history of this franchise, while we've had some fantastic front seven, the closest we've had to a true game wrecker on defense in the front seven is Geno Atkins, who in a few years will be going up into the Hall of Fame. But, in terms of just absolutely wrecking a defense, somebody that can get to the passer, destroy another team's passing game, do you see the chance of anybody out there falling to 28, or anybody out there that nobody's talking about being available in the 2nd round that could come in and fill that job for us? Really, really putting the fear of God in the opposition that he's going to hit our quarterback.
Well, I mean, when Geno Atkins was drafted, I don't think we all anticipated that we were going to have that fear of God, interior defensive lineman wreaking havoc either. There is one guy that I don't think he's a pure defensive tackle, but could be available at 60. Could be available, maybe he's a target at 28, depending on what happens. But I really liked him at the Senior Bowl, and he had one of the best combines I've ever seen for a player his size, and that's Northwestern's Adetomiwa Adebawore, 6'1", 284-pounder, but ran a 4.49 40 at 289 pounds, and had per PFF had one of the best pass rush win rates of any of the defensive ends, defensive tackles in this class. So he's a guy that I like him more than Kalijah Cansey. If you're making the pick, he has also 3-inch longer arms than Cansey does. He's built like a dude that, like, on 3rd downs, maybe he's outside, on 1st and 2nd down, you bring him down inside, put him next to Sam Hubbard on the inside with Osai and Hendrickson on the outside. Man, that's fun. Let them rush and let the guys 7 cover.
I have to admit, I didn't watch any Northwestern football last year.
Nobody else did. Don't feel bad.
Yeah. So, I haven't I've read the reports on him, but if you could say his name again, if the Bengals do pick him in the 1st round, we're going to have Monty, who runs the Bengals pro shop, on in just a little bit. Monty's going to have to print jerseys with his last name on them, and Jimmy will be the first guy down there to buy one. So if you could just say his name one more time, Monty may not come on now, Jimmy, but so
yeah,
say his
Monty's
name one more
scared
time.
Adetomiwa Adebawore.
See, Brian, you act like you pronounced it correctly. You act like you knew what you were talking about. I'm going to believe you. If somebody else pronounces it differently, it's on them. I'm just saying.
Well, let me say this. I did the radio broadcast for the Senior Bowl this year, and he was slated to play in the game. I was thankful that he ended up opting out of the game because of an injury late in the week, and we were just preparing to call him Double A on the radio broadcast.
Dan Horde will be able to handle it.
Jeff's saying that's a lot of vowels. I don't know if they had that many vowels for the jerseys to do that jersey. I'm just saying. So hey, we got to talk about, Brian. This is a little bit of draft question here, but I just any insight, Jonah Williams drama, as we seek here, as everybody has been talking. I don't need to go into the detail. Everybody that's watching knows about this, But what are you hearing, if anything, about the Jonah Williams situation and likelihood if one of these stud or right tackles drop to the Bengals in 28? Is that something they would jump on?
This is where I feel about it. With the situation. If the Bengals draft an offensive tackle in the first or second round, Jonah Williams is off this team by the end of day 3. They'll move him for whatever kind of pick they can get to whoever takes the contract just to clear the $12.5 million. If they don't draft an offensive tackle in the first 2 rounds, Jonah Williams is the starting right tackle for Cincinnati Bengals in week 1. That's
there you go.
I have no inside information. I don't know anybody. I'm not cool like that. That's just pure T speculation because I'm sorry, you're not going to not get paid $12.5 million, right?
Good point. James, keep going. I'm sorry, I said James. Tom, keep going, buddy.
No, well, I was going to say, or $34 million if you're a quarterback. You know, you're not going to turn down $34 million if you're a quarterback.
No, you are not.
So,
hey, Brian. Go ahead, Tom. You got it.
Just looking at the Bengals depth chart. Is there, if we have the sky is falling anytime anybody gets hurt. Is there a particular position group that you look at and say, you know what, they really, really by the time we go to bed Friday night, after the 3rd round, they really need a guy in that position group?
They've got to add another tight end before day 3. Before day 3 starts, that I feel like they have to have at least one, and I think they need to draft another one on day 3. Maybe in the 7th round, maybe a dart throw on one of these freak athletes that's still on the board. I can't go into week 1 with a tight end room that may play 6 games combined. And that's kind of what you've got with Irv Smith Jr. If he's healthy for 16 games, that's going to be great because I think his talent is there. Drew Sample hasn't played worth a lick in 4 years he's been here. They bring him back on a 1-year deal coming off an injury. Doesn't really move the needle for me. I think they're good at the linebacker position. We mentioned I think they want to add another defensive end, potentially another defensive tackle. They've got some depth there right now, more so at defensive end than defensive tackle. And I just feel like they need some more, if nothing else, more competition on the interior of the offensive line. So, I mean, your starters are there, but we saw what happened once, you lost Karras and you lost not Karras. Yeah, no, not Karras, Kappa, and you needed another guy to step up. They didn't have that. Mike Sharping, was a cast-off guy. That they could use more depth there as well. And I think, I don't know. I wish we would have saw more out of Tyson Anderson as a rookie. I wish we could have got to see him play. I loved him as an athlete. I think as a big safety, a box safety, I think he has value to the team. But I really wish I just could have saw anything to make me feel better about him as a player last year.
Yeah, interesting. So Brian, thanks for being with us, man. We got a few more things we want to run by you. But again, everybody that's viewing right now, don't forget we got a bunch of questions we've already hit on. A lot of duplicates in there. But Brian, give us, just put you on the spot here a little bit. I told you we tried to make up something here to put you on the spot, but give us a surprise. Give us a surprise draft. Somebody that drops that is not expected to drop, something to that. If you give us the biggest surprise in the draft as far as somebody dropping, who will be one or two of those potentials?
I think if either of the tight ends drop, Mayer or Kincaid, I'll go, that's a mild upset for me. I have both of those guys in my top 20 overall players. So if either one's available at 28, it's a mild upset. There's a couple of edge rushers I think that if they fall and they're on the board at 28, you run the card up. Nolan Smith out of Georgia. I've heard, I don't think he will fall, but if he does, 4.39 defensive end. He's smaller than what we normally see off the edge. But as somebody else pointed out, Anarumo loves having different tools in the tool bag to play with.
The main thing about him, Brian, is we got to keep him out of Pittsburgh.
Yes. I don't think he's getting out of the top 10 myself. but
Good.
if it happens. But Miles Murphy's the other edge rusher that out of Clemson I think could fall. He's had some production issues, dealt with some injuries as well this last season, but a former 5-star player coming out of high school, all the talent in the world. And he tested when he was finally able to tested really well. And he is like the prototypical, like if you made the Lou Anarumo defensive end in a lab, it would look like Miles Murphy. So if that guy's on the board, would be surprising to me, but somebody I think they would run the card up for.
Interesting. Well, Brian, brother, we really appreciate your time and insight. We know we love you, man. You're a friend of the show now, 3rd year in a row, man. Go ahead, Tom.
Hey, man.
Yeah, Jimmy, you're probably getting the same thing. We've got an internal chat from people that are regulars on the show. Jimmy's probably getting the same message. And Brian, it's become a bit of a tradition every time you're on. But we've got somebody who wants to be anonymous. Are there any Syracuse players that might be able to help the Bengals this year that are in the draft? I'm sorry. Ask for friends.
Well, there's 2 players. There's really only 2 that could help the Bengals this year, and that would be if they like Matthew Bergeron, the offensive tackle, as maybe a reserve. You draft in the 3rd round. I think that's where he's going to come off the board. Sean Tucker, the running back. If they don't take a running back on the first 2 days, it may be they attack. He's on the board in the 4th round. But Garrett Williams intrigues me, their cornerback. I think he was a 1st-round pick this year if he doesn't tear his ACL in October. No testing, obviously, and may not be able to play a whole lot next year. But in the 3rd round, if you haven't taken a corner yet, you could talk me into taking Garrett Williams just as a projection and what you may get for the 2024 season.
So that question came from Jeff Hobson, James Spink, Coppola from our show. So all the Syracuse guys in Bengals Nation here, just wondering. Brian, you were being very nice. I would say no, nobody's getting drafted here from Syracuse. That's what we told them. So
all 3 of those guys are going to get drafted. I just, I don't think they're going to go as high as I thought they would have 2 months ago.
Right. Right. Well, Brian, we appreciate you being on. We'll see you again, right? Draft night. Tom will be announcing some stuff like the draft night episode here later, but Brian's been on with us each of the past few years for draft night as well. So, Brian, we appreciate it, man. Thanks, Scott. Just tell everybody where they can find you right now on social media so they can make sure they keep up with you.
As always, I'm on Twitter at Deep Fried Draft, and go to draftcountdown.com. We've got daily draft content every single day. Every mock draft we put out going forward is going to be a 7-rounder, including on draft day itself. I'll be releasing the first time I've ever done it, a 7-round mock draft. So looking forward to that. Actually, I'm not looking forward to it, but you get what I'm saying. But we'll have a new 7-rounder coming out tomorrow. So everybody check that out. And my final Bengals mock draft will release next Saturday at draftcountdown.com.
Brian, thank you.
Make sure you guys check it out. Brian, we appreciate it, man. Thanks, big dog.
Thanks.
Hey, thanks, guys. Good day, guys.
Thanks, man. You heard it from Brian. This is he's always got great insight. So hey, let's go right now. So I told everybody earlier in the show we'd have Monty Montague, the merchandise manager for the Cincinnati Bengals, on here around 8:30. He's sitting in the waiting room right now. Make sure you get all your questions ready to go. I'll try to keep up with him as much as I can. Monty was very gracious coming on with us tonight, but we got some pro shop stuff to talk. Tom, let's bring Monty on the show now. Monty, what's going on, man? Welcome.
Hello, everyone. How we doing tonight?
Here, let me see that jacket, Monty. It looks good. Let me see that jacket.
It looks very familiar, doesn't it?
Yep. I got this in the pro shop. I think Todd charged me 10% more than what he should have, Monty. I need a refund, but that's all right.
That's all right. He deserves a bonus then.
Jeez, Pete. All right, Monty. Hey, we got just a bunch of stuff. We appreciate you being on, man. We get so many questions about the pro shop, man. What's going on and all these things. I don't even know where to start. Tom, you want to kick this one off, and we'll get there's already questions popping up in here, Monty. We'll fire those out here in a minute.
Well, first thing is I'd like our viewers to help us with is the decision-making process for buying a jersey, because it isn't just buying a jersey, it's an investment. The quality, and Monty can go over the different types you can get in different colors and so forth. But the player, what goes into that decision? Is it a player you met? Do you just love how he plays? Will you shy away from somebody you're worried about their contract status? Anything like that, color, etc. But Monty, what is new at the Pro Shop right now, and what can we be expecting over this month with the draft and in the summer?
Yep. No, these are certainly very exciting times for us, right? The better the team does, the bigger my budget gets. So that certainly allows me to take some chances with products and bring in a lot of new goods. And if you've been down to the Pro Shop, or if you haven't, we are delivering more product this spring than we ever have. After the delivery problems that we've all seen over the past couple of years, we decided to take some chances and deliver goods in the spring, making sure that we're covered for summer. So even as recently as last summer, we were still seeing some delivery issues. So the point is that we've got a lot of new goods delivering at the Pro Shop right now. And some of those goods are draft merchandise, draft caps. We have draft T-shirts that match up with the draft caps. Most everyone should have heard and seen by now that T. Higgins has changed his number from 85 to 5. We've delivered a men's, women's, and youth jerseys so far in select colors, with more colors to come. And then just a plethora of restocking goods in hard lines and accessories. So stop by the Pro Shop now. You'll see more than you ever have in the spring.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of questions in here. A lot of them are jersey related. Mine. Let's go to start popping them up here. So Brandon Bradshaw from Portsmouth, Ohio, is there expectation for Orlando Brown junior jerseys at any point in the Pro Shop?
So right now, no. Honestly, line jerseys are tough. We certainly have minimum numbers that we need to meet to have a jersey produced. They are in the hundreds. And with that, an offensive lineman typically is pretty tough for us to sell through those goods in a reasonable amount of time. I can tell you we do have history. Going back to the Whitworth days, we were involved in carrying his jersey for a season, and it wasn't a fast seller. Believe it or not, it wasn't. So we tend to tread lightly on offensive line jerseys.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Let's keep going here. This is tying into the T. Higgins. So obviously from 85 to 5. Somebody's asking, are they going to still be sold, or are there going to be discounts? So I'm sure you have a back stock of some jerseys there with 85 T. Higgins.
Yeah, no, we certainly were cognizant of the fact that he was going to be changing from 85 to 5. We knew with a good amount of time last year that this was going to be occurring for 23. When we were positive it was going to occur, we stopped all deliveries and canceled all futures. So we sold very few number 85s last year because we did not want to put our consumer, our fan, in a bad position where they had just bought an 85 from us and all of a sudden we were changing numbers. So none in stock, thank goodness.
So everybody that's watching, again, remember, type in some numbers here. We've got Monty for a few more minutes. But Monty, it's funny, ever since the Pro Shop opened, when it's, not too long after the stadium opened, been in there every year. Since the stadium's been, I know you've been there 23 years, I think you said earlier. But man, these past 2 or 3 years, Monty, I have never in my life seen some of the crowds that I've seen down at the Pro Shop. I'm down there 2 or 3 times a week when I take walks. My wife and I take walks. But man, just tell us, is it going as good as it looks? Because man, the fans have really responded and just. There was one point, I'm going to add to this real quick. There was one point I know last year that there were boxes coming in out on the floor. And your folks were trying to open those boxes, and people were waiting by the box for them to come out of the box before they could even get them on the rack. So things look like they're going really well.
Yeah, no question, Jim. These past 2 years have been our best years ever. No surprise. This past 22 season was our best year ever. It even beat the Super Bowl run that we had. That was because we were well prepared, and the fans had a full year to consume their Bengals gear. So it's been a great run. There have been times where we've been trying to keep up with demand. It's again, the past couple of years have been tough across the globe for deliveries of everything. Obviously Bengals merchandise included, unfortunately. So there have been times, where we've pulled stuff up from the warehouse and it's gotten on the floor, and we've sold it straight out of the box. That's you got to do what you got to do to make the customer happy.
Yeah, there you go. Keep going here. These are just a lot of quick questions here, I think, for you. AJ from upstate New York is asking, did you ever get last year's Ring of Honor banners?
No. The supplier, unfortunately, that did them our first Ring of Honor year 2 years ago, they went out of business. So there was no supplier to create that banner for us.
Yep, not a problem. Lisa Morana has she just wants to see more Tommy Bahama Bengals apparel in the shop. She's high maintenance. Monty, don't even look at that message there. Tom, what else you got here? I'm gonna go through the rest of these things. She's gonna kill me.
Monty, and I do know this question because I've already gotten some myself, but can you tell our viewers about, it's a very big year, a very important year in Bengals history. Ken Riley is finally going into the Hall of Fame. It's so overdue. What do you have now, and what will you be getting to help celebrate that between now and August when he goes in?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. We were in contact with the Pro Football Hall of Fame shortly after it was announced, and we have to work through them because they own the rights to the Pro Football Hall of Fame marks. So we were in contact with them shortly thereafter. We brought in everything that they did. It would consist of a couple hats, T-shirts, pins, I think is what we have in the store, and it's in the store right now. So it's available for purchase.
Yeah, those lapel pins are really, really nice. I did grab a lapel pin down there this past weekend. They look really sharp. I'll be wearing that up to Canton that weekend for the induction ceremony. So
we appreciate the support.
Yeah, what can you tell us, Monty, about we have so many fans that are huge bobblehead collectors, and I know you've had sporadically bobbleheads coming in. Do you see or plan or know of any bobbleheads you have coming in the near future?
Yeah, we just delivered one Joe Burrow here this past spring. I don't have it all mapped out here in front of me, but I can tell you that was one of the notes I did make about this call. We are delivering a couple players that we haven't delivered in the past. T. Higgins in his new number 5 jersey. We'll have a bobblehead for him. That'll be late summer, early fall, and then we'll also do a Evan McPherson bobblehead. Again, these are 2 players that we've never carried before, and we felt we were in a great position to expand that offering.
Yep, very cool. Chris asked a great question here. I know you guys at one point did a lot of autograph signings at the Pro Shop. Is that something you guys are really looking to bring back into play here at some point this year?
Yeah, no, it's certainly been a number of years since we've done that, and there are reasons within the office that they asked to stop doing those. I really can't go into the great detail about it, frankly, but no, it's probably been 5 or 6 years at least, and there's some reasons that staff within the office are asking that we no longer do them.
So the whiteouts, the white jerseys and helmets and stuff, like how crazy was that with that Thursday night game? Prior to that game, people getting their gear for the game that Thursday night whiteout.
Those Thursday night games, if you go back 2 years, that would have been the first Ring of Honor, I think against Jacksonville, maybe. Yep. That was phenomenal. And then, we thought, well, you can't top that. Well, the whiteout Ring of Honor Thursday night game was absolutely bonkers. We had started selling different types of white products in the weeks, if not months leading up to it. And it all sold through fantastic. And by the end of that game, we were pretty darn clean of all white merchandise that next Friday morning. Whites, it's here to stay. We are certainly cognizant of how well it was received on field and with the fans. It's sharp, right? It's just a great look, head to toe, that our players are wearing. So we will continue to bring in a large amount of white merchandise, jerseys, helmets, T-shirts, caps, everything like that and in between. You'll see from us in greater quantities this upcoming year.
Monty, when certain things come out, like, my son needed a particular type of sock hat, and, I had to get it for him, so forth and so on. But a lot of times you guys sell out of the new stuff you get very, very quickly. And I know you're only allotted a certain amount. Is there a way fans can follow you guys on social media to see what is coming out and when it's coming out, and find that out?
Yeah, no. So we do have a Twitter account that I handle. Maybe not as well as I should at times, but I try and do a real good job of acknowledging bulk questions if someone is asking about T. Higgins in white. If I get a lot of those questions, I'll respond with an approximate delivery date for that product. Or if we've just delivered the Higgins in white, certainly I will get that out in social media on our Twitter account at the Bengals Pro Shop as soon as it hits the floor.
Yeah, and your folks down there, Monty, again, I think I've told you this privately, but your folks that work down there, man, have been just outstanding. I mean, sometimes when there's a store full of people and lines going out the door and people just on them all the time, and they've really handled this thing with flying colors. They've all worked really hard, I know, and they've all done really good. Since I've been going down there, they've all been really good to us, my family, when we come down.
Thank you for sharing.
There's a lot of people that can't make it down to the pro shop. I always tell people when they come in town, Monty, it's so easy to get to the pro shop, man. You just drive on a plaza level, and there's still people that don't understand how easily accessible you guys are. But the people that can't come in from out of town for games and can't make it down to the pro shop, they have the ability to order some certain things online as well, right?
Well, of course, yeah. Go to Bengals.com and go to the shop button. We are partnered up with Fanatics, like many NFL teams are, and most other leagues are, frankly. But we keep a close eye. I work with them on a weekly basis to make sure that they are representing our product well, that they are well stocked in the things that we are selling well in the physical brick and mortar store. Bengals.com, go to shop, and Fanatics does a tremendous job. They are the worldwide leader in this avenue. We're proud to be partnered with them.
Yeah. Tom, anything else?
Yeah, Monty, I'm just wondering, in the pro shop, when I've been in there a couple of times, there's been a couple brushes with greatness. Do you ever have any ex-Bengals or even current players that wander in and do some Christmas shopping or just regular shopping in there?
Oh yeah. I hear from my store manager Todd McGrail on a regular basis that current players, current coaches, Anthony Munoz, Ken Anderson is a frequent shopper. T. Higgins was in the day that his number 5 jersey was launched in the pro shop. He was in there bright and early to buy a bunch for his family. So it's not scripted. And it's not on a regular basis, but yes, a very good chance that you're going to bump into some Bengal greatness when you're shopping at the Bengals Pro Shop.
Yeah, I know.
All the more reason to get down there. All the more reason to get your butt down to the pro shop, because you'd be surprised how many times you run into people. Tom, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And the other greatness, is Bengal Jim, right? He's down there 2 or 3 times a week, so there's a chance you're going to bump into him while you're down there.
Exciting. I'm sure that'll get a lot of people down there, Monty. So go ahead, Tom.
No, he's good. But so you never know who you're going to see. Your staff is fantastic. About the only other thing we need is probably the concession stand to be open in there, and we'd have everything going. But
if you sold beer in there, Monty, if you sold beer in there, I might be down there more than 2 or 3 days a week. I'm just saying.
No, we don't want that. No, we don't want that.
But I was going to tell a story, Jimmy. I was downtown for work and stopped over to the pro shop one morning just before they opened, and it happened to be Reds opening day. And there were 25 people in line to get into the Bengals pro shop. So, and Monty probably doesn't want to hear this, but the staff actually opened the door about 2 minutes early. But
hey, no, it's all right.
Todd,
as long as they're ready to go, man, we're ready to sell.
Todd is a rule guy; he goes by the book. But it was it's just phenomenally interesting, and I think the people inside there really mirror the administration, the rest of the front office, professional, cheerful, cordial, informed, and they don't even mind talking a little football with you. So it's fantastic.
That's great to hear, guys. So we certainly appreciate both of your support. We see what you do on social media for us, and that means a lot. And it's nice to hear that our staff is treating you as well as you're treating us.
So if we have complaints about Todd or something, we can just call you directly, I'm assuming, Monty, right?
Please do.
Okay. All right. So last question, we'll leave you this, buddy. So it's really cool. I don't think some people don't understand. It's not just jerseys and T-shirts and hoodies and clothing articles, but you guys have some really unique things that are outside that realm right there. So talk about some of those other things you guys have down there. It's not just T-shirts, hats, and jerseys. You've got a bunch of other unique things as well.
Yeah, well, certainly we try to cover every item that's available in Bengals that's being offered, right, outside of T-shirts, jerseys, fleece, and ball caps. We talked about baubles already. That certainly is a staple for us. There are pet supplies, right? Pets is a big category for us. There's banners, there's pennants. There's glassware. There's tailgate stuff, right? There's footballs. There's plush toys. We like to think we've got something for everybody when they come down to see us.
Yep. And if they're season ticket holders, right? There's discounts for season ticket holders.
Yeah. Certainly, it depends upon where your seats are, but it's up to 15% for season ticket members.
Nice.
I just got a message from my wife. Our grandparents going to have two under the age of 2 here very shortly.
Wow.
Baby outfits, and in fact, very, very, very small Joe Burrow, Evan McPherson, and Chase jerseys.
Yep. Well, I can tell you that newborn Burrow rompers is a thing, and come the fall, we should be in stock. But other than that, though, we've got newborn and infant creepers in stock now.
It's awesome. Well, Monty, we appreciate everything, man. You guys have done a great job for many, many years, and it's been a lot of fun watching everything grow and expand down there. You guys have done a hell of a job, but we appreciate it, man. And everybody that's watching right now, if you get down there, make sure you treat those employees well. They do a lot of crazy stuff down there, and they got to work for Monty. So, God bless them. They got to work for this guy right here. But Monty's been around a long time, does a hell of a job down at the pro shop. But Monty, we appreciate you being with us, buddy. It really means a lot to us.
Thanks for your support, and thanks for having me on.
Thanks, we appreciate it, buddy. Good day, man. We'll see you down there, buddy.
Yep.
So I didn't realize this, Tom. That was the first time he's done one of these, he said.
Yeah, it's the first time he's been on with us. But, I always, right after the draft, how quick they have to get those new. Is it the first 3 rounds or just the first round jersey they get?
I don't know. I thought it was the first 3, but I could be wrong.
Could have asked him, but yeah, they're always been, nuts, crazy busy right then. But it's been tough to keep stuff on the floor. Things have been flying off the shelves. The way
it is so funny.
It's a good problem.
It is so funny. It is so funny though. Some of the requests you hear from some fans, like asking for like jerseys of some backup player that they like for some reason. It's like, no, sorry, we don't get those in. But man, I tell you what, they got a lot of good jerseys down there. I've seen all the T. Higgins jerseys out there on the wall. So actually, Andrea saying the jerseys last year, the only one they got in for was the first round pick. I think that was Dak Hill, right? That was the only jersey that came in. So, well, Tom, anything else to add to the Monty's comments there? I thought he was. I mean, that
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
he just
he was phenomenal. It was a lot of fun. We will have him back.
absolutely good stuff. Let's go ahead and kick it right here. Let's find it. See if I can find it real quick because I'm real slow finding these damn things right now. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
This is the 2-minute warning.
Tony the Tiger, baby. Kick us off.
Well, Jungle to the Hall gets closer and closer. Sort of like free agency, the free agency frenzy. We just keep signing Bengals legends more and more to come. So please lock in, come down and visit us that day. These guys deserve our support. And, the voters need to know how desperately right it is that Ken Anderson and Willie Anderson, Chad Johnson, Isaac Curtis, Lamar Parrish all belong in the Hall of Fame. And we're going to have a little twist this year, too, as we add somebody else. But not only will we be pushing these guys, we'll be celebrating Ken Riley. So please get on. Jimmy will be posting fairly early next week. We'll have a really good episode next week as our final episode before the draft.
Announce it. Give it to him. Let's go. Who we got next week, Tom?
Tell me.
Bob Johnson.
Well, Bob. I thought you meant the other one. The original Bengal draft pick will be on, and we'll have another big announcement with another guest we'll have out after Bob. But yes, Bob Johnson, we've wanted him on since the show started, and we finally got him to agree. And what better week than to have the Bengals' first draft pick ever on than draft week?
How cool is that, man? That's going to be awesome to have Bob Johnson on. So, and actually, Paul Blanton's asking this question. I'm going to read these attendees right now, guys. I'm going to tell you, we have some other major surprises coming here with this. But right now, these are confirmed, locked in, coming to the Jungle to the Hall. We're going to have Dan Hoard, Jeff Hobson, and Dave Lapham emceeing the event with myself, Tom, and James. And then we got former players, David Fulcher, Joe Kelly, Ken Riley II is going to be coming in town. Ken Anderson, Jim Breach, Solomon Wilcox, Glenn Bujnock, Max Montoya, Icky Woods. And I have about another 10 to 15 names I'm just waiting to get confirmation on, guys. This is going to be a Bengals block party June 10th down at the Banks. I'm telling you, RSVP on the link that I sent on the comment section, and it's on all of our social media platforms. RSVP to that thing. It's going to be crazy, Tom.
Jimmy, can we confirm yet anybody with the last name of Anderson coming?
Ken Anderson will be there. There's another Willie. There's another Anderson coming, but I have to wait on one more thing to confirm that. But there's a pretty damn good chance Willie's going to be there too, Tom. So, but there's some. I'm just going to tell you there are some really big names that we expect to be there that I can't throw out right now. But I'm telling you, it is going to be a festival. We're going to have the entire Banks area. We're going to have a bunch of shops set up selling Bengal merch and drawing prizes, and Bengal Bids is going to be there. Cincy shirts. It is going to be crazy. It's going to be so fun down there. So, and remember, we're making this. We're expanding what we're doing with this Jungle to the Hall, but nothing is going to take away from our focus on what that day is and what it has been for 3 years now. It's focusing not just local media attention on our Bengal legends that should be in the Hall of Fame, not just locally, but nationally. That is the goal, to get national conversation stirred around this. That hashtag Jungle to the Hall on social media. When we start going to social media platform, posting things about this event, we want you guys to use that Jungle to the Hall. There are people nationally following that, and that's what we're trying to do here. Exactly what we did 2 years ago and last year, stir that national conversation around players like Willie Anderson, Ken Anderson. Those two are our main focus, but we're going to be talking about Max Montoya, Isaac Curtis, Lamar Parrish, Corey Dillon, Chad Johnson. And I think we're probably going to throw one more, since we of the Bengals' great 8, one is going in, Ken Riley. We're going to replace that 7th, that 8th one after he goes. And we got another play that we will announce at a later time. Tom and I will announce. It is going to be a massive Bengal tailgate block party, but the main focus is going to be those legends, and that's what we want to celebrate. And I'm going to tell you something right now, guys. We also got confirmation that we're going to be using the Jumbotron on the Red Stadium. So we're going to have some videos and some things going on at Jumbotron. It is going to be a great day. The only thing I'm concerned about, there is no plan B for the weather. So fingers and toes crossed, for good weather that day. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of people. Just keep your eye on that. We'll keep updating every few days once we get other players that confirm 100%. It's going to be a good day in Cincinnati that day.
I think we can also confirm that after Jungle to the Hall, there's a celebration uptown at TQL Stadium.
Yeah, actually, we will have tickets to give away for that evening's Beer Fest, Cincy Beer Fest event, and it is at TQL Stadium. And that evening, we literally, me, Tom, James, all of us have been organizing this. Tony, everybody, we're going to be going straight from the Jungle to the Hall. After we get everything cleaned up, we're literally heading over to TQL. Tom, you're going with us. We're making you come with us. Come on. Tom may be there, but we're going to head up there. We're going to be giving away some tickets that day at the event for Cincy Beer Fest. And if you've never been to a Cincy Beer Fest before, I'm telling you, June 17th, there's another beer fest down at Great American Ballpark. It's called Cincy something something. They're not from Cincinnati. They're from Los Angeles. If you want a real beer fest from a Cincinnati locally owned company, you go to TQL Stadium with Cincy Beer Fest. Our buddies Matt King and Craig Johnson, the owners of that company. You meet these guys at our tailgate every week during the season as well. But we hope to see you guys not only at the Jungle to the Hall, but we'll see you down at TQL for some beer fest that evening.
And both, particularly Jungle to the Hall, it isn't just for people that have known us or knows Jimmy from his tailgates. We want Bengal fans from all over the globe, even Canada, to come down and visit with us and show the support that our legends deserve. So, no matter where you tailgate, no matter where you sit in the stadium, even if you can't come to the games physically, come down, relax, talk football, and celebrate, some of the best Bengal legends and Bengal people you can.
Tom, we lost your sound for some reason. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep. Can't hear you. Sorry, Tom. We lost your volume for some reason. So, well, guys, look, we appreciate it. I think somebody's asking in there, was asking a question. Cincy shirts we're working with right now, they will probably be down there with a pop-up tent down there, but we're working on Jungle to the Hall 3 T-shirts, but we're trying to figure out if we're going to do pre-order or do we print a bunch of them up front and bring them down there. So we're working through some of the details on that right now. But look, we appreciate everybody's support. You guys have been awesome supporting these players, these legends that their legacy should be protected in the Hall of Fame. And you guys have been a factor in helping Ken Riley get into the Hall of Fame. You guys have worked your butts off. You guys did letter writing campaigns, social media stuff you guys have been doing, staying positive and not blasting some of those voters. So keep it going. And man, I can't wait till June 10th. We're going to have a lot of fun down there, guys. And until next week, man, we'll see you then. We'll see you next week. Bob Johnson, the the first draft pick in Cincinnati Bengal history. Tom and I have been 2.5 years trying to get Bob Johnson, and we got him. So Bob Johnson will be with us next week, and we will also be talking some more draft stuff for you as well. We love you guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you later. Hoo day, everybody.